everyone, and welcome along to X-Men, the animated series re-examined, where two grown men re-examine a children's television show and try and find layers of meaning within it that possibly aren't there. But good gracious, but we will search. My name's Dan Bain. I'm joined, as always, by my longtime collaborator. It's Javier Hakeem.
Hello, everyone. How's it going? We are two full-grown men looking back at a children's series with much delight and sometimes some boredom, but mostly intrigue. Looking for the layers in this beloved children's animated series.
Yeah, and I think, I don't know, when you were a kid, you just had no idea how things got made or were assembled or how they would come to life. And so...
Yeah. I do remember being a kid looking at other things and going like, I think the X-Men is dealing with some bigger things. You know, like other cartoons would be like, where's my honey pot? Where is that? Or we've got to get to the town hall. And this one's like, I don't know, is Morph allowed back on the team? He's pretty fucked in the head now. You know, he's experienced a lot of trauma from the betrayal that he seems to stems from us.
Yeah. We need to leave him alone with his PTSD.
Yeah, he needs some time. He needs some Morph time. He'll be fine.
Yeah. But yeah, so it's interesting to kind of come back and as people now that kind of make things to look not just at the stories, but at kind of the process that was gone through with these things.
Yeah, because they're adapting a lot of stories from the comics, and sometimes they've got to go, that's way too heavy for kids. I've got a question for you, though, Dan. We're kind of into Season 2, Episode 5. Do you have a favourite character at this moment? Who's your favourite?
I mean, I've been a long time... Gambit has been my favourite X-Men character. But over the period of this, I have become much more enamoured of Rogue. I think she's actually just a great character. Fun, funny, flirty, and also tortured.
Layers. You never go, oh shit, Rogue's here. Like the way I feel about Storm. Yeah. Like every time Storm turns, I'm like, oh god, here we go. We're going to get a lecture about powers and responsibility.
Yeah. Someone's in trouble.
Yeah, someone's about to have a talking to.
Someone didn't empty the bin in the
Exactly. Speaking of that, we are up to Season 2, Episode 5. This is an episode called Repo Man, and if you like your Wolverine backstories... and there's so much of that to cover. They couldn't possibly do it in one episode. This is part of it. It's mainly about Wolverine and his past with the Canadian team Alpha Flight.
Do you want to break us down a little bit into a bit of a...
Let me set the scene for you here, people.
Yeah.
So we start with the episode with Wolverine wandering through the Canadian forest because, you know, being an American company, they just assume all of Canada is forest. And he's looking around for a girl called Heather, and then he's suddenly ambushed by members of Alpha Flight. Alpha Flight is a superhero team from Canada. They don't get anywhere near as much press or exposure as your Avengers, your X-Men, your Guardians of the Galaxy, but they are there. You know, just like really Canadian, just politely letting other superhero teams go first. So Alpha Flight comes and ambushes Wolverine for reasons not yet known, and the first one we come across is the leader of Alpha Flight. Dan, your reactions to the leader of Alpha Flight, who turns up, may I remind you viewers, in a costume that screams Canada. It is white with a bit of red and a giant maple leaf. In case there was any ambiguity about where this guy's from. Yeah. When he turned up, Dan, what did you think of this guy?
Yeah, now, a lot of these guys got named really quickly. In this, so I think I got a couple that I was able to kind of pause and go, ooh, what's their name? But this first guy, I was reminded of being in Canada on Canada Day. Yeah, like everyone just goes out and just gets fucking drunk, and everyone is wearing a Canadian flag. Yeah. Like it's just that's just what you wear.
You can't move for maple leafs, eh?
Yeah, I remember doing street shows on Canada Day and just standing there and being like, oh, Canada! Look at you all in your flags. It looks like just blood spatter over a snowfield. so Canadian.
Yeah, this guy definitely looks like Captain Canada. He looks like a propaganda piece if the Canadian government went. They've got Captain Britain, they've got Captain America. Come on, we've got to have Captain Canada. And I reckon if they really were the government doing this, they would have missed a trick if they didn't call him Captain America.
America.
Me, who's never been to Canada, but I know all the tropes. I know what they're like.
Yep. Go in the boot.
Exactly.
Yep.
So this guy's real name is Vindicator. Just because it sounds, I mean, like, what a cool name with a costume that screams like, I think you've got you. He clearly killed someone else and stole their name. Listen, Sergeant Syrup, you can kill me, but you can't take my name.
Oh, that'd be a good one.
Yeah.
I don't think he'd like it, but it'd be good for us.
Let me run through the other members of Alpha Flight because Wolverine is fighting all these guys, and it's a nice introduction to the team. You've got Sasquatch, who is so again. What's that? Canadian abominable snowman. Yep, we got them. We've got Shaman, which is indigenous American medicine man kind of guy. There's Puck, who's like the human cannonball. Like short, you can't imagine the guys that were fired out of cannonballs, like that guy. Snowbird, who's your shape-shifting inter-Canadian natural indigenous species, like owls and foxes and stuff. Is that it? Oh no, sorry, you've got the twins.
There's the hand-holding pair.
The hand-holding twins. North Star. That's right. Oh, North Star and. Oh God, I've forgotten the girl's name, but they are so. I love these guys because they're so French Canadian.
Yeah, the Quebecois.
Yeah. Do you think they were making the team like, oh shit, we didn't have any representation from Montreal?
Yeah, and they will hear about it.
Yeah.
if we don't.
Oh my God, their accent reminded me of years ago in an improv scene. I played a French Canadian character, and I just hammed up this awful French accent, and I think I heard it again in this animated series. It's not subtle enough to just be like, this is someone's natural, they got a French Canadian to do this. It is, they got someone and they don't know how to turn it back, as comedic actors often don't.
Let's say it's very broad.
Have you noticed this with like any time you've had to do an accent for like an actual serious acting piece, and you'll be like, oh, I only know how to do accents at 10 or 11. I don't know how to do it at 4.
Yeah, I was doing a rehearsed reading of a new play on Sunday, just been, and it's like a historical horror. So it's like there's no jokes in it. There's no jokes, and I was directing it, and so at the reading I did like the stage directions and a couple of voices that were like voiceovers.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of set on a prison ship going from Ireland to Australia, right? And
yes.
So all the other characters are doing like it's Irish accents, and they're like really locking in so it doesn't sound like Father Ted.
Yeah.
And then there's a couple of voiceovers of like British officers and stuff like that, and then like I come in and just like, oh, I say, like just
hello, 1940s propaganda voice.
Yeah, like comedy, upper crust British, like aristocrat kind of, and then I'm like, Daniel, dial it back, and then I pull it back, and it suddenly becomes, oh, it's Matt Berry, like all the way to New York City.
Yeah, this is the problem. Like, we don't know how to do it. It's what am I trying to do a real accent that you realize, actors, that's why they earn their crust, because they can actually just do it properly without taking the absolute piss.
Push for comedy, right? And when you kind of default back into that, you're like, oh no. In this context, I just seem bad.
Yeah. I've noticed, I put down here, when he meets Alpha Flight, this whole setting in the episode, I just put colourful. It's so full of colour with like the Alpha Flight's costumes. It's all quite vibrant compared to previous episodes, that have been set like around government or like the Soviet Union, which is just grey tones they chose for that. But this one, it's the Canadian outdoors. So we've got greens and yellows and reds and everything, and Wolverine's on yellow spandex. It's all very strikingly vibrant.
Yeah, it is. There's a really bright palette to this episode.
I thought got reminded about Alpha Flight because I haven't thought about them in years. But when Shaman comes along, the kind of medicine man who's got natural magic and plant powers. He kind of reaches into his bag and does a little half magician trick, where he pulls out a staff out of his bag, but it looks like something out of a stage magician's show where he pulls out a staff and it just says, "It's too long for the bag. How did he do that?"
Yeah, it could be part of a clown routine.
It really could have been. It kind of took me out of the gravity of the situation. Where he was like, "Wolverine, we're your friends. Don't make us do this."
So, I've got some exciting news, Hav.
Yeah. I'd love to hear some exciting news.
That I believe I've seen this episode before.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Look at that. Yeah. Somewhere in the deep recesses of your brain, it went, this seems familiar.
Yeah. That's the first time now. Is
it the first time this has happened?
This is the first episode that of this kind of rewatch where I'm like, oh my gosh, I've seen this before.
Oh shit! How did that feel?
Good. Because I'm like, how come I know so much about, how come I know each of the beats of this kind of Weapon X thing, and how come I recognize all of these Canadians?
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, it's right. Well, that's because it's memory, Daniel. You've seen it before. So that was exciting to kind of.
Did you feel like your inner child reawaken and go, oh yes, this lovely memory. Let me plant it back into your current consciousness.
Well, I think it was nice to be like. Oh yeah, I didn't imagine watching this show when I was a kid. There's so many episodes in it. I'm like, did I ever see any of this? Where? What's going on?
See, everyone, Captain Canada does exist. There he is.
He's
proof.
real.
He's real. And you were there, Snowbird. And you were there, Puck. And you were there, overly French Canadian twins.
Yes.
Oh, happy days. We've come back.
We see a lot of kind of so Wolverine's back in Canada, and at the start we're like, oh, we don't know why he's there.
He's just looking for this girl called Heather.
But
Heather.
he gets kind of confronted by the Alpha Flight team, and then we're back and forth into flashback of him getting kind of brought into the Weapon X program.
Yeah. Yeah,
the making of Wolverine. So the kind of implanting the adamantium in his bones and whatnot, and his sudden discovery that claws come out the end of his hands and stuff.
Yeah, this old Weapon X adamantium bonding in the lab using Wolverine as a test subject. This is very much the backstory everyone kind of knows, but we don't see as much. It's the Uncle Ben dying for Spider-Man.
Yeah.
It's the Batman's parents being shot in Crime Alley. It's Wolverine gets his adamantium bonded to a skeleton.
Yeah.
If you don't know about this, there's they've been trying to do this for ages with people, trying to fuse adamantium into people's bones, just cause. But Wolverine can survive the process because of his healing factor. So the adamantium bonds with the skeleton, and the side effects are his hands get itchy, and lo and behold, claws pop out. He uses the claws to break out of his shackles, escape the program, and runs off into the woods, where he's found by this lady called Heather and her husband James, and they take him into their cabin. And they nurse him back to health and rehabilitate them.
Yeah, because Wolverine really kind of he kind of mentally degenerates, right? Becomes really this kind of feral creature that kind of just goes rah, rah.
Yeah. Some people love that. I'm like, so, whatever. Okay, fine. His feral rage.
Yeah.
He can't be controlled when he's in his feral rage. Yeah, fine. Okay. Yeah, he's a cat. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Did you notice? I found it quite funny when they're, nursing him back to health. They give him food and rest and clothes. And at one point, he kind of breaks down going like, I don't know what I am anymore. What the hell? Because my memory's all fucked.
Yeah.
And they go, we're going to help you. And then they pull out a book and it really looks like they're teaching him how to read. because he's like following the words along with his finger, and I'm like, did they?
Yeah.
Was that a side effect of the experiment?
Yes,
my bones are unbreakable.
I've gone illiterate,
but my spelling is.
There's a great moment where, like, kind of the past and the present are kind of coming together, and there's this close up of Wolverine in his mask, and he just goes, "No more labs," and you shunk, and the claws come out, and it's just this beautiful little image.
Yeah, that's the cinematographer.
Yeah, it's one of the nicest. It's just there are. And sometimes they're few and far between, but there are like moments in this series where you're like, that is cool. That is cool. There you go. That was real cool.
The director just went like, oh yeah, we don't have to rely on just wide shots.
Yeah. Let's get in there and fill the frame.
I'd like to
fill the frame with the claws, and it was great.
Yeah, so we, after the flashbacks, we find out that Alpha Flight, so they've captured Wolverine. Wolverine, after he got rehabilitated by these two, Heather is a scientist that works for the Canadian government, and her husband James is actually Vindicator, Captain Canada. They ask him at the end of his rehabilitation, hey, would you like to join Alpha Flight? And he says, well, you guys have helped me out so much, of course I will.
Yeah.
Alpha Flight has recaptured him under the orders of their founding General Chasen, and he wants to find out why it worked with Wolverine, because they've been trying the process again and again and again, and I could only assume people have been dying without him.
Yeah.
So they want to kind of like pick him apart and find out what makes him work.
Yeah.
Even though he's sitting there screaming, I'm a mutant, you idiot. I've got healing powers.
Yeah.
It's that simple. The other guys you tried it on, do they have superhuman healing? No.
There might be.
Did they have superhuman screaming? I bet they did in their last moments.
Yes. Yeah. There's a great look that this series does with villains in glasses where...
Oh, they shut out their pupils?
You can only see like the reflection of glass rather than seeing...
It dehumanizes them.
It does dehumanize them, and I think it's a great little kind of trick that they use to make like human, often bureaucratic kind of villains, push them into that kind of similar area of villainy that we see from like Sinister, that kind of marker of if you don't have pupils or an iris in your eyes, you're a supervillain kind of thing, and it's a great kind of...
Unless it's Cyclops, in which case it's badass, okay?
Yeah, oh, yes.
Just so we're clear.
Yeah.
Okay, guys?
Yeah.
Unless it's Ruby Quartz, in which case, fuck yeah, game on.
Yes, but you do sometimes see Cyclops' eyes through...
Very rarely, yeah. Normally when he's in civilian getup.
Yeah, when he's
you wouldn't see it through
he's got the glasses
visor.
version rather than the kind of combat.
Yeah, I always wonder with Cyclops, because glasses stick out from your face a little bit. I like the beams just like pouring into the lenses, and if you look at Cyclops from the side, are you just like, dude, your eyes, they're freaking me out right now.
Yeah, if Cyclops side eyes you while he's just wearing the normal glasses,
just dude, your eyes are constantly vomiting.
This beam just blasts out the side.
Tink. So while this is all happening, Wolverine's in the middle of being put on a table. It's always a table in a lab with wrist restraints and like full body. It's the cardboard cutout. We want you to talk, Mr. Bond. While he's on that, back at the X-Mansion, Jean is using Cerebro to try and find Wolverine, and we get a nice little kind of montage of Easter egg characters, and she's kind of scanning for mutants worldwide, and she comes in contact with some ones we haven't seen yet, or will never see again. Characters like Domino, Nightcrawler, Archangel, Cannonball, Wanda, and Quicksilver, and Psylocke. Psylocke is a huge fan favorite and was excluded from the series. We don't know why. Probably because it would have been too much for young boys to take who are just on the cusp of
the answer is surely the answer is like too much leg and butt and cleavage.
We're gonna have like boys having seizures if we can't have that. Save that for Pokemon.
Yeah.
We then we cut to Professor X and Magneto in the Savage Land. I am so over Professor X and Magneto in the Savage Land. I don't care anymore. I'm either like, shit or get off the pot, man. Like, just give us an episode. These constant cutaways are just doing nothing for the pacing of their story.
Yeah, so they're in the Savage Land, and they come across like a Scooby-Doo bridge.
Yeah.
Like this feels like it was like a classic staple of Saturday morning cartoons. Is
the rope bridge that will not make it to the end of the scene.
Yeah, rickety jungle bridge made of vines and with like falling apart planks. Like it feels like it's like I saw it in every show. And it's like,
and also Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom as well. They took inspiration from that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean,
clearly.
it's and which is kind of classic 30s pulp adventure. But yeah, so they're about to cross this bridge, and then this mutant appears on the other side to kind of stop them getting it. And she didn't say her name, so I was able to pause and kind of come up with some potential names. So I've got some. I've got some potential. Do you want to describe what this mutant looks like, Harv?
I just wrote down. She looks like a London '60s go-go dancer.
Yeah, exactly.
She's wearing like a kind of green patterned short dress, and like the boots that you'd kind of see of like in Austin Powers 1 when he's still in the '60s and all the ladies are chasing him. She's wearing what they wear.
Yeah. It's a very go-go kind of look. So I came up with a few names for her. Rave Queen, just as a first pass, was kind of
love it.
Option one. Then I was like, no, tie dye.
There you go.
Yeah.
You're all over this, mate.
Yeah.
You should be.
And then my last choice, I was like, why did I call her this? I can't remember why I called her this. Did she say? Maybe she says something. I've like Psycho Dahlia, and I don't know why I've called her that. Like, I think I was riffing on
psychedelic.
Oh, yes. There we go.
Psychedalia.
There we go. Yeah. Oh, yeah. There we go. And also, like,
I would think that totally holds up because at the end of this interaction, long story short, she tries to attack Magneto and Charles. She gets him in this kind of like stun, brace hold, kind of tractor beam, sonic beams, where they clutch their ears and go, I can't move.
Yeah.
And they cut the rope bridge, because of course they do, because as soon as you see rope bridge in cartoons, it's being cut.
Yeah.
And these guys escape that way. And when they do that, like they pull off this miraculous escape, Psycho Dahlia just calmly turns around and walks off like she's in a trance, like she's on, like the edibles have just kicked in, or the ecstasy is just kind of peaked, and she's like, oh God, I have to dance now.
Yeah. Oh, now I need to. I'm going to have to get the bus to get home from the club.
Oh God, I wasn't expecting them to do that. Fucking rope bridge.
Oh, who saw that coming? Why did I confront them at the rope bridge?
Yeah. And also, Charles and Eric also just walk off the other way. They just go, well, I guess we're going this way now.
Yeah.
It's such a weird encounter, where we don't really learn that much. She does say that all the mutates in the Savage Land are of Magneto's creation, which is, I guess, the big piece of information there.
Yeah.
But again, this whole plot is being drip fed at a rate that would make a snail want to hurry you up. It's just, I'm finding it really hard. And I'm worried that there's going to be an episode coming up that is dedicated to that. And the only thing I'll enjoy about it is that it will bring that arc to an end.
It's kind of annoying in that we keep getting pulled back to it purely to remind us that it's happening.
Yeah.
It doesn't really, like, it never really advances, or we don't really learn new information or anything. It's just kind of, there's just going to be a little minor encounter in this other environment purely to kind of remind you that it's happened.
Yeah.
And I feel like you could cut all of this from it and then, like, in however many episodes, just go, and now we're in the Savage Land, and remember this.
Meanwhile,
yeah, exactly. And you could still teaser it a little bit by these moments of when the X-Men are together and you see them kind of going, the professor still hasn't returned, and stuff like that. So you could still keep it alive without the kind of necessity to keep going back and just doing kind of little tropey moments.
No, it's unsalvageable for me at this point. Like, the episode that finally wraps them up better be fucking banging, because it's already starting at a disadvantage for me.
Yeah.
We come back to the X-Mansion. This is maybe my favorite bit in the whole episode. Jean Grey is still... I think she's searching for Professor X, actually, and then comes across Wolverine in her worldwide sweep. So she comes across Wolverine, who's currently being operated on the lab table, and she says, "It's Wolverine. He's in great pain." And then Gambit says, "Wolverine been a pain from the start." You know?
I know, right?
I laugh my ass off when he said that, because he does a little card spring while he does it. It's like, just cuts to him for this one line. This is all that Gambit does in the whole episode. Wolverine's in great pain. Wolverine is always a pain. What the...
Yeah,
and
it's like, dude, this guy's been like undergoing surgical torture. And you're just like, better get him with a zinger as well.
I'll tell you what's torture, hanging around with that guy, am I right? Zing.
Yeah.
Pick a card. I just love that they included Gambit just for that line. And no one laughs with him. No one tells him off.
No.
Everyone is just like not even paying attention to him, but that's his little happy place there.
This episode had several great fights.
It's action-packed, this one.
Action-packed, because then it goes back and, like, Alpha Flight are like, wait, what? We captured Wolverine so you could torture him?
Yeah, you said we were going to capture him for, like, good reasons, and now you're doing bad things. Yes. So now we're going to turn on you and save him.
And they do.
What I love about that, they totally do. So the government facility, the security guards, at one point... they point out, they go, "Oh, they're robots." So now what that is code for is, hey kids, they're not human. We can absolutely tear them limb from limb, but it's fine.
We're going to trash them.
Oh, we're going to fuck them up so hard. So hard. Even Sasquatch goes, "Oh, this is going to be fun," when he finds out that they're robots. There's one little bit that annoys me here, where Wolverine in the escape, he just... like, rips his wrists off out of the restraints on the table that he's on. And like, this also happened with Cyclops. These tables are not worth shit, man. They're so flimsily made. And it was annoying because you've got the whole Alpha Flight there rescuing you. One of them could push the button. One of them could break the restraints. But Wolverine does it himself.
Yeah,
and I found that annoying.
It's the exact same, like, why didn't Morph release Cyclops from the thing in
Absolutely.
Is it?
Yeah, same situation. You've got the captor who brought them here suddenly has a change of heart. Let them galvanize that through action, and the action is physically liberating them.
Yeah.
But no!
Yeah. But no.
I wrote down at this point here, when Alpha Flight are nailing all these robots, I realized that Puck's costume... the little short guy that was a cannonball essentially.
Yes.
He's got a black costume, black helmet, and just a giant P on him. Right, that's his costume, just a P for Puck.
Yes.
Like it was one of those like, oh, I better finish this before lunch, kind of costume designs. And then I realized, this is the very first time I realized, like, is he called Puck because of Canadiens' affinity for ice hockey?
Oh yeah, it's an ice hockey puck. Yeah.
I didn't get that. Did you get that?
No, I didn't get that at all. But now that you say it, it's like, oh, of course he is.
It's right there.
It's right there.
It's right there. Of course, he's a literal puck.
Because I was like, oh, yes, he's a small man. He's named after Puck from Midsummer Night's Dream because he is small and goblin-like.
Exactly,
right?
Exactly. But no, it's actually like the writers are like, what are Canadians like?
Yeah.
We've already got Captain Canada. Vindicator. Puck, anyone?
Yeah. It's right there. It's right there.
So it is action-packed. You get this awesome fight. Wolverine and Alpha Flight stick it to the Canadian government.
This episode, I think, really emphasizes Wolverine's weakness for redheads.
Oh, good point. Heather is a redhead.
Yeah. And also ending up as the third wheel in a love triangle.
Oh, shit. This is why Dan Bain is on this podcast, people. I've not seen this.
Well, yeah.
Absolutely, it's a parallel between Jean Grey Cyclops and James and Heather and Logan.
Yeah, so he's got there's kind of a history repeating here kind of thing for Wolverine.
Will he ever get his red head?
Yeah, he's repeating. We discover he's repeating kind of the same patterns or unhealthy kind of patterns in his life.
I take it all back, Wolverine. I can see why you go feral now. Son of a bitch again. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me?
Are there no single redheads in this world?
Not in the 90s. No. That is a very good observation. I had not seen that. I thought I was going to be dropping some truth bombs with Puck being a literal Puck.
Oh no, that was very good. That was very good. Yes, I hadn't seen that at all.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's right there.
That's what both bringing to the table, everyone. Like Dan's found the parallels and relationships of being a third wheel yet again, wherever he tries to find love and affection. And I'm like, Canadians like ice hockey. Yay! I should be on this podcast. I'm helping.
I'm helping. Yeah.
I really enjoyed this episode, but it ends so abruptly.
Yes.
So Alpha Flight, they blow a hole into the side of this facility. Alpha Flight and Wolverine kind of like reconcile / like he's like, don't come after me again.
Yeah.
This is the one time I'm not going to like slit your throats. And then he just immediately runs into the woods. And that's it.
Yeah. Straight into the woods. Yeah. It
really made you realize how the lack of a like epilogue shot of or farewell shot. Because normally he'd see him run out into the woods, and then you'd see another reverse angle of him like going through the forest, going like, "Heather, I'll never forget you," or something, or like, "Will I ever find who I am," or something. A pensive look back at the facility and locking eyes with them. No, just runs into the woods.
Yeah,
roll credits.
Yeah, classic. I feel like there was a moment that this happened in season 1 as well, which we described as "There goes fuck Squatch." From that Patton Oswalt bit.
From the Patton Oswalt routine.
Yeah, there goes fuck Squatch.
I think when we were talking about Mr. Sinister, how he found Morph, like he's just wandering around in the bushes and comes across this mutant who's knocked down, just goes jackpot.
It's like, oh, I'll have that. Noink.
Yeah. Oh, are you guys going to finish that?
Yeah.
I'll take it.
I'll take that if no one's using it. Yeah. Now, I have a controversial statement to make.
Oh, yeah?
I think this is the best episode of season 2.
Oh, I'm up there. Yeah, I believe you. This is so much fun. Again, the colours, I think, were tricking my brain into going, this is going to be fun. Look how colourful it is.
Yeah. It was action-packed. We got history. We deepened character understanding.
We did.
Yeah, lots going on. As of now, my favourite of season 2. It's an easy favourite.
Easy favourite. Oh, man. Yeah. We had quite a treat the last 2 episodes because we had Red Dawn with Colossus and Omega Red last time. And now this was really, really fun. And we only had to get through, some of the other ones, like Whatever It Takes, like the Shadow King episode. We ate our vegetables and now we got dessert.
We were definitely trending up on Red Dawn.
Yeah.
And this, a peak for me.
The last 2 have also been like open-closed episodes.
Yeah.
The X-Men love to do to be continued. But these, again, shorter time frame, just got to make it action-packed. Can't draw shit out. Here we go. Boom, Alpha Flight. Flashbacks.
Yeah.
And it was cool seeing a new superhero team of, good guys, because they are essentially good guys, Alpha Flight. They just had to capture Wolverine, which gives you the impression that they're bad guys, but then, good team versus robots with new powers we haven't seen before. It's great.
Yeah. Good stuff. I liked it.
Yes. Well done, season 2. You're starting to turn it around.
Speaking of season 2, this is season 2 of our show, and that is the end of this episode. But you can follow the show wherever you like to podcast from. You can do that. And if you find our antics amusing, then feel free to do some further research. Do your own research as to where on the internet you can find both Javier and myself. There's a lot of clues in the show notes.
Yeah. If you want more nuggets like Canadians like ice hockey, I've got plenty more where that came from.
We're overflowing with nonsense. Very good. Hey, thanks so much, Hav.
I really enjoyed that, mate. Great episode.
Yeah, good one.
I'll see you guys later. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Are podcasts too interesting? Especially if you use them to fall asleep. I'm Dan Bain, and all 4 seasons of my podcast, Sleepy Time Mumbles, are interesting enough to listen to, but not interesting enough to keep you awake. Sleepy Time Mumbles, a podcast you can miss, wherever you get your podcasts.